Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Thames. I'm Talusia, co-founder, co-creator, co-director, together with my partner James Alexander Lafferty, of course. Every Sunday, as you know, we do a dropout. A drop, of course, that is our creative director segment. And today's episode number 7. So welcome on board. Have a great listen. And of course, do some research on this particular genius human being. His name is Elbaz, a Moroccan-born designer who helmed the House of YSL and, of course, Lanvin, and also launched his own label, AZ Factory, before he passed away at the age of 59, April 2021. So his is an Israeli-born, but of course grew up in, not in a different part of the world, but born in 20 June 1961, Casablanca, Moroccan, and with an Israeli parents or background, of course, heritage. Before his sudden departure from Lanvin, Elbaz was celebrated for transforming the once ailing couture house into one of the most sought after luxury labels in the world. He took up the mantle of creative director in 2001 and re-established strong commercial successful DNA for the French brand over his 14 years tenure. In October 2015, unexpected news emerged that he was exiting from the long-held role. The decision, of course, was made. The decisions, of course, of the company's majority shareholders. The break between Albers and the brand was said to have followed disagreement between the designer and the Lanvin owners. That's Shaw Lan Wang, and Chief Executive Michelle Huban. Now, it sounds like, and it is the a Chinese owner of the company. Now, I'm going to talk more about Elbaz. When I first heard of Elbaz, it was many, many years ago, of course, and I started following his work for the House of Lanvin because I've never really met her before Lanvin because I wasn't actually paying attention to his work then, but I paid attention to his work at the House of Lanvin. That's Alanvin. Pronounce it like a French word, not like an English word. Now, his work is tremendous. It is a couture home, but his work, it's not fully couture because I don't find it's a fully couture like John Galliano and Alexander themselves. But yes, it's quite simple. It's also quite avant-garde, but not too much of the avant-garde style. And the reason for that, I believe, because the avant-garde, it's not really the thread of the aesthetic of the brand Lanvin. So Elbaz was born in Morocco again, began his career working for a small dressmaker's shop in the garment district of New York. So he's been around the world, not all the world, some part where the industry is perfect and right for him. Having moved to Israel in his youth, the designer studied at the Shanker College of Engineering and Design. Now, you know exactly why he became a creative director, because he went to study at an institution like that makes you fantastic. And of course, his work, his ideas, it made him to where he was before he passed away, of course. Through a connection forged with Gucci Dawn Mello, Elbaz was introduced to a Korea, or I would Korea, what do they pronounce it? Couture. Korea Jeffrey Bean in 1989. He was Bean's assistant until 1996, crediting the experience with his in-depth educations in fashion design before taking up the helm of Guy Larouche in Paris, of course. Now, Guy Larouche, I've heard of that guy, that brand, but I have never, ever did some research on it. I might do, but I've never really heard of it that much. So After a little over a year at Gala Rouge, he was scouted as creative director for YSL Laurent. Yves Saint Laurent. Um, Ready-to-wear couture and collections and all that, of course. Women's wear line. When after 3 seasons, he was replaced by Tom Ford, following the Gucci's group acquisition of the label. Now, of course, replaced by Tom Ford at the House of Gucci. You know exactly what Tom Ford did for that house. He sold the brand. He made millions and millions of sales for that brand because of his ideas. And of course, sometimes you have to move on to different brands. It's simple as that. I don't think designers or creative director ever last a lifetime, in a brand, in a fashion house. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years max. But you've got to move on to another brand and actually create something completely different, because you are the genius, of course. Yeah, that's exactly how it should be anyway. I believe so. So prior to joining Lavon in 2001, Elbaz took a brief sabbatical and served as head designer for the Italian design house Crearive. K-R-I-Z-I-A, Crearive. Now, I have never ever heard of this name or this brand. I might have to do some research on this if it needed to. At Lavon, Elbaz entered into a number of collaborations with other companies, including a limited edition cosmetic range with Lancôme. That's actually fantastic, isn't it? And a capsule collections of Swedish high street retailer H&M. A lot of people heard of that. That's like a fast fashion. That's in 2010 that happened. In honor of his 10-year anniversary as a creative director of Lavon, Elbaz, of course, released a book in 2012 featuring over 3,000 images picked by the designer's own short narratives in musing. Do we all know what it means, the word musing? Do we all know what that is? I do. It's a fantastic word. Since exiting Lavon, Elbaz collaborated with French perfume Frédéric Malle on a fragrance called Superstitious. That's a nice word, a nice brand for or name for a perfume. I think I have smelled this scent, but I've never actually bought it because I believe that is a woman's perfume, which was released in 2017. And in 2019 announced that he will be working with struggling Italian leather goods. That's the brand's called Tots. I've heard of that. And I'm sure if you are in the fashion industry in Europe, you have heard of it too. In New Zealand, not many people follow fashions in Europe that much, but I do. So I'm Talisi, of course. He returned after a 5 years hiatus in 2021 with the launch of AZ Factory, mentioned earlier on, pay attention. His first collection was shown during Paris Fashion Weeks. Haute couture. So, you know what that stands for, right? You know what it means, haute couture? It's the big garment, the most expensive garment in the industry. It takes a lot of fabrics, takes a lot of time, and it's also time consuming. That's what I said. And also quite expensive when you sell the product itself. People need to purchase those products in order for you to survive. Otherwise, do ready-to-wear collection. Now, throughout his career, Elbaz has been awarded a slew of industry accolades in recognitions of his contribution to fashion, including the 2005 CFDA International Designer Award and Most Influential Designer at the inaugural World Fashion Award held in WGSN. Google that in a bit. You can Google that in a bit. In 2013, Elbaz was announced as the winner of the Jeffrey Bean Fashion Impact Award at the YMA Fashion Scholarship Fund dinner. Now, everything to do with a high fashion dinner, it's pretty much, you know what I mean, high standard, a top end and luxurious, and always to do with top notch. If you understood what I mean. If you don't, well, you know, there you are. In 2013, Elbaz was announced again as the winner of the Jeffrey Bean Fashion Impact Award. And of course, in 2009, he was awarded the Grandeur Medallie de Vermeulen de la Ville de Paris by Mayor. Okay, the mayor itself, Bertrand Delano. These French names are not actually quite understandable, quite there to pronounce them. But give me an Italian word, I will pronounce it with no hesitation. No hesitation whatsoever. Anyway, moving along, what he did for the House of Lanvin was absolutely brilliant. As mentioned before, when you are a designer, creative director, or the genius for the brand, it is ideal. It is super important that you come up with a collection that will sell. It is about that. Collection, designs, it doesn't really matter what it is, perfume, handbags, jewelry, accessories, or the clothing itself. As mentioned also that with the couture collection, sometimes, most of the time, it is really, really time consuming. And of course, it is super expensive to sell. But you know what? That is the beauty of fashion. Other than fast fashion, yes, I do like fast fashion because it's easy, it's fast and quick. But if you want to wear something nice, like super nice, super expensive, go for it if you have the money. If you can't, just wear something that's cheap. Hello again, I'm Talis. You're welcome to Thames, co-founder, co-creator. Thank you for watching. And of course, don't forget to press underneath, subscribe, follow, and of course, share it with your network. See you next Sunday and of course, the next segment. Thank you. Ciao. Bye.